Hello, everyone. My name is Todd Wall, and welcome to Communication Makeover, where we believe that intentional communication will lead to the breakthrough that you're looking for, both in your business and in your life. We started with the problem of feeling invisible as a communicator because there's a reason we're communicating in the first place. There's a difference we want to make. There's a cause that we're fighting for. There's something that we want to move from point A to point B. But we often feel invisible, like the words are going nowhere, and then we're not actually in the same room with anyone. And it feels horrible. But what Larry is explaining to us, it's about technique. That connection that helps others be seen then results in you being seen. And so oftentimes it's even just as simple as the expressions on our face or the eye contact that we're making with that other person to help them be seen.
Larry, I am just amazed at what you've shared. First of all, I think your 4-year-old son at the time, brilliant, and
Oh,
how fun to experience that. But going back to the connection, so now I feel like invisible is melting. When you have that eye contact, when you're understanding the face, the expressions, you're able to move to convey and create. What are you seeing? I just love to hear maybe folks who come to you, what are they getting out of it? What can you visibly see from them in the program?
There was a woman named Dale um, who came to me because she was up for a huge job, some gigantic organization, and she, I think, had already been through 2 rounds of interviews and had been called back for what I guess was a final interview, and she was extremely nervous about this. And so we worked specifically on the techniques we wanted her to use, about using active listening, about using her facial affect, about reading the room, which is also so intricately tied into those elements. And I was totally confident that she was going to ace this. And she did and got this contract, this huge contract. And I think she was more surprised than I was. I think she thought I was just trying to bolster her confidence. But I could see that she took this seriously and was practicing this stuff. I had another guy, David from the Bay Area in California, who was stymied because he couldn't increase his fees. He couldn't ask for larger fees. And what he did, what he presented, of course, was great, but he just and he kept thinking he was doing it, but he really wasn't doing it. And I wish we had time to go into this in depth here, but it's that thing where people think, "Oh, I'm being very direct," but you're undermining yourself if you say, "Oh, I'd like to get paid more. I mean, if this is a good time." Well, now you've just given them the option to ignore you and blow you off, right? And so I worked with him specifically on this, and to his astonishment, he wound up getting double the amount that he'd been getting before. Now, him, this is a huge success, but I mean, money can be an enormous comfort at times, I realize, but it's not the be all end all in life. How we feel about things, I think, may ultimately matter more to us. And that made me think of a woman who trained in my 2-day boot camp with me, very intensive. And she did it because she was in a PhD program. And she knew that at the end of this program, she would be called upon to stand up in front of a board of, I don't know what those people are called, but the process is called defending your thesis. She was going to have to speak to them, I don't know, for a half hour, an hour, 2 hours, a long period of time, really defending what she had written in her thesis. And I was she was so funny because of she was amazed at how simple everything I was teaching was. And but she could also see how effective it was, how powerful it was. And then a year later, she sent me a video of her in her cap and gown, where she is now Dr. Danielle because she was awarded her PhD. Now, to me, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, that made
Oh,
me
it is.
feel so great. You know, I had a
That-
guy come from Germany to train with me, and he was nervous in business situations, approaching people on cold calls. And so we worked, and he got very successful at that and did very, very well. But a month after he got home, he sent me a video, and he said, you know, something unexpected happened. He said, I realized I've been talking with my wife about things we've never talked about in 10 years of marriage. And he said, I realized it's because I was using all these Wilson method techniques. If you do them regularly, they become so natural, they're just a part of your normal life. And
So not
to
just
me,
business, you can take them home. You're actually using them personally.
absolutely. And to me,
These
that
are
was enormously gratifying. You know,
that
I would like
must
to
be.
see, I would like everyone who trains with me to make millions of dollars. That would be great. But to achieve harmony in their personal lives, that sounds like a fantastic bonus. You know, I think that's
Yes.
wonderful.
There, there's something that you said before. It was almost around believing or the mindset. As you're using these techniques and practicing, these are all real world. Whether you're trying to get a big contract or you want to have more money for a job you're doing, and even that defending the thesis. What happens? Do you think there's a shift in the mindset that helps people as they connect and they believe that they can do it?
I don't think that at all, Deirdre. I know it. It has nothing to do with my belief system. I've seen it over and over and over. I think the quote is from Thomas Edison. I'm not sure. I think it's Thomas Edison who said, whether you believe you can do something or can't do it, you will be correct. And it couldn't
That's
be more obvious. The reason why, to me, I don't know if the things about Will Smith that are exciting to me, I'm not sure if they're exciting to other people as much. The
I think they
results are
are.
exciting. Well, thank you. But to me, the idea that it's so simple because it's technique based. You know, we talked in the last episode, we talked about the power of this authentic smile. And I thought, let's give your people one more communication makeover here. Let's show them.
Yes, let's
So,
do it.
so we know that a fake smile looks kind of lopsided and weird, right?
Yep. Like a
And
smirk
it
almost.
doesn't mean that's right. It doesn't mean that the
Mhm.
people you're talking to necessarily understand it consciously, but unconsciously, they definitely get that information. So, how do we make an authentic smile? Maybe you don't even know these people you're going to be talking to. Preparation, moments before you're going to be presenting, whether you're online like you and I are, Deirdre, or whether it's live in front of an audience of 50 people or 500 people, take a moment to think of something that arouses pleasing feelings in you. Now, I can tell you, you can see already on my face, this is already because I have a go to thought. You heard me mention that son of mine before. And
Yes.
when he was
That's go
little,
to happy.
well, he's actually grown up now. He's in college now. But when
Yes.
he was about 4 or 5, he and I were walking through a parking lot in summer. It was very hot. Walking out to the car, and I was holding his hand, and I was having trouble getting the door to the car open. And he looked up at me with a mischievous smile and said, It's damned hot out here, as you would say. And of course, I fell down laughing. If I think of that, it shows on my face.
My face.
If I
Yes.
walk out into a hostile group of people who I have to make a presentation to, if I think of that before I come out, it's showing on my. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to be a mind reader. You're not supposed to be sending them what you're thinking. That's personal, that's inside you. But think about something. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a pet, maybe it's a place, maybe it's a food. But if you use your phone to video yourself and look at this, turn the phone on, look at yourself while you're not thinking of anything, then think about the most delicious sushi you've ever had, if you like sushi, and you will see what happens to your face. These are
What a great
simple
example.
things you can do.
I
That's
I love this so much, Larry. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show,
yes.
and not only the stories that bring it home, but really just highlighting just the little techniques that make the biggest difference. And that's really what makes communication so powerful. It's not learning
Absolutely.
calculus. It's learning
No,
to make eye
no,
contact.
no. And you
Simple
should be,
techniques.
yeah, you should be very suspicious if it's complicated and complex. And, I wanted to make sure that your people knew if they're interested in doing this 5-day challenge online. It's a 30 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, where I teach this stuff, but in much more depth and many more techniques for you to use things. We only really addressed nonverbal things, but we address using your voice and active listening and a slew of other things. They can, yeah, they can go to thewilsonmethod.com/5 days. Uh, but more importantly, I think it's very inexpensive. Uh, it costs less than most people have blown on some ridiculous, I don't know, hack they've seen someplace. But let's make it so it's virtually has no expense at all. And if you go on there and sign up for that, there's a little slot that says enter special code and use that code. Lucky you. There it is.
There you go. Fantastic, Larry.
And
Thank you
Right.
so much. And as we sign off here and we tell everybody we're going to see them next week, I want all of us to be able to say just wish everybody have a happy Eggs Benedict day. So,
Thank
all right,
you. Thank
everybody,
you,
have a
Larry.
great day. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
thanks.